Hi, how's it going? We are now going to take advantage of the fact that our school announcement and bell system was so successful that the school has now employed us as integrators to outfit their new auditorium with a full spec PA system. Doesn't have to be too massive because it's only a school, but we do want a left and right subs and top boxes. We want 4 sets of monitors and a pair of delays halfway down the room. Now we're going to manage that with a Core 8 Flex at one end of the room with a panel to 8 audio outputs from any console that wants to come into the venue, including the school's M32. And at the other end, we're going to have 2 amplifiers, a bunch of speakers and speaker cable, and all the rest is going to be networked, and all the speaker management and system management will be done inside QSIS, which is quite an achievement. So this is a quite long, complex design because we're going to also up our design elements, and we're going to make sure that when we are looking at our design, we can troubleshoot our design as we build it and test it. We're going to make it look neat. We're going to have color coding. We're going to put meters on our stuff. We're going to have readouts on our components as we have the design. So this is going to be quite a long process. I'll split the video up into several sections if that's cool with everyone. All right, so we are going to build this around a core, but we need to add, first of all, a couple of amplifiers. And if you wouldn't mind having a look in your inventory tab up the top left here, and we're going to go to amplifiers QLAN. Now I've chosen these amplifiers because they will end up being the right power ratings for the speakers we are also choosing, and they have the correct number of inputs and outputs. So we are looking for a 4K 8Q, which is a 4000 watt low Z amplifier. Now because it's 8 channels, obviously that's 500 watts a channel. So I've added one of those. I also want a 2K 4Q, which is here, which again is a 4-channel amplifier. We're only actually going to be using 2 for the moment in this design. So for the moment, because we may build on this in later lessons. I've had ideas about infill and other things like that. So that's good. We now have our amplifiers. They're the only 2 we need to do this entire installation, run all the monitors, the PA and the delays down the room, which is kind of cool. So we also want some loudspeakers. We want to go to the loudspeakers performance. And in these, I would like you to choose, please, a pair of AP 4122M front of house, which are 2-way 12-inch. So 2 of those, please. They're speakers 1 and 2, as you see in the left-hand side down here. For the next one, I would like you to have some 2112 subs by 2, 1, 2. Then I would like you to go down to the 4122 Mon and click 4 of those, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the delay speakers, I would like some 5122 front of house. Why not? So let's do that. 1, 2. Great. So now, as you can see over here, if we actually pull this tab out a bit. Thank you. You can see that we have our speakers numbered, which is very helpful for our design. Okay, so let's lay out our infrastructure as we want it. So I'm going to grab, interestingly enough, the Flex In, the Core Flex In. I'm going to put that out on my design, which is fine. I'm then also going to grab the amplifier output from amp 1, put that over here, and the amp output from amp 2. That's very nice. We also want to have the speakers. So I'm going to move my design over a little, and I'm going to start adding the speakers. Speaker 1, status control here. Speaker 2. Then we want the subs. Do that. Good. And we want the Mon speakers. 2, 3, 4. Again, I've done them in a reasonably untidy fashion, so we will select them, use our distribute tab to make them nice and neat. That's pretty cool. Then I'm just going to get the last 2 speakers out, show our delays. Okay, so here's our 2 front of house top boxes. Here's our 2 front of house subs. I'm actually going to move them over to the edge package just for neatness. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 monitor speakers, and our delays halfway the room. Beautiful. So I'm going to use actually this amplifier for the delays. So I'm just going to wire up this seemingly in a reverse order, but it will make sense this way. So now the delays are hooked up to the right amplifier. I'm going to get the first 2 of these to. Oh, that didn't work. I don't like it when that happens. Try that again. I see what I'm doing wrong. I think if I do it that way, yes, there we go. Good. And these 2 channels to the subs. It's been quite annoying. Let's zoom in. There we go. It's down so it's a little more kind of like. Okay, great. And now I will put these last 4 onto the. Great. So now our speakers are wired up to our amplifiers. Fabulous. So we have on the left-hand side of our design, we have the console inputs over here. And the way I'm considering these inputs will be left-right mix, copy of the left-right mix, or a specific delay send for the delay system, and then monitor 1, monitor 2, monitor 3, monitor 4. We should be able to run everything off that without too much stress. So we don't have to send separately to the sub from the console. We're going to take care of that with our speaker management system that we are about to build. Okay, one of the first things with speaker management I like to have is, of course, a graphic EQ on every channel. So let's look for graphic EQ. And here it is, graphic equalizer. I would like 6 of those, please. Let's just put them all up here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. If we can grab these top 2 and make them stereo, please. Just in the properties up here. And if you've got 2 selected, both of them will actually do the right thing and become stereo at the same time. So that's wonderful. Let's take these 2 and hook them up there, just so we are sort of starting to understand our system as we build it. And of course, these 4 are. Oh, start it again. These 4 are the monitor send. Mix 1 to 4, suppose, from an SQ. Wonderful. So we also need to have some system protection before we hit the amps, because we don't ever want enough signal going through the amplifiers to cause the amplifiers to thermal. That would be bad. Or to actually shut down the outputs, or to blow the speakers up, which would be dreadful. So the element that we like to have is a peak limiter. And as you see, if you just do that, it comes up. I need 7 of these. This seems slightly counterintuitive, but it's not. 7 of these. 1, 2, 3. And then 2, 3, 4. Once again, I'd like you to turn these top ones stereo by selecting them all and stereo. Great. That's good. So we're part of the way there. By the way, let's go ahead and do a bit of this. I'd like to hook these two stereo outputs up to the first 4 inputs of that. Then I want to wire up the monitor sends to the second 4 because they're attached to the monitor speakers, obviously. This stereo output I'm going to send down to the delay inputs. Okay, so this is obviously going to end up being the delay, which is interesting because actually that's also supposed to be for the delays. So I'm going to line them up so they're in line with each other, which is very cool. So we need a couple more components before we have our very basic system built. I'm just going to move these over so they look a little bit more, yeah, all right, sort of ish. All right, okay. What we need to be able to do is split our stereo mix signal, which is coming into the mix off the desk, left and right out, to a high box scenario and a low box scenario. And the item that we need to achieve that is called a crossover, which basically split the band up into as many ranges as you need. And in this case, we need to split from top box to bottom box, sending only subs to the sub and only tops to the top boxes to maximize the efficiency of not only the amp channels, but the speakers themselves. This will give us the clearest thing. Now, the crossover as it comes out of the inventory is not ideal for our purposes because it is a 3-way. We actually want a 2-way to split to top boxes, and we want it to be a stereo as well, please. Great, so now it's our mix, and this is going to go into these 2 peak limiters. Going to the top box and the sub box. So the subs and the top have separate peak limiters. The delay also has a peak limiter. Now, to make the delays delay, I actually need, believe it or not, a component called delay. Let's find the delay. Here it is. That's wonderful. Once again, it comes out of the box not as we need it to be. It needs to be stereo, please. Great. Now let's hook that up. Wonderful. Okay, great. That's actually the basis of our entire system that we need. That's all wired together the way that it will eventually end up working. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to put these together. There you go. Now it is wired up in the way that will make the correct outputs from the console go to the correct channels of the amplifier and therefore to the correct speakers, which will be a wonderful, wonderful thing when it works. And we have several pieces of kit already in line to help us protect our system, EQ our system, and do various background tasks that we need them to do, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video here and let you catch up to this point, and then we will develop this design in the next video and take it to a new place. Thank you. I'll see you soon.